Shalom.
Call Elohim La Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha Kodash, Rakta Yahweh, Rakta Yahweh Shai, Rakta Racha Kodash, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha Kodash.
Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elder bishops and the elders in the Akim and the Akwath of the hopeful elect. Shalom. Just want to go ahead and go into part 3 of the final video for Psalms chapter 17. I've previously done Psalms chapter 17, verse part 1 and part 2. There's many precepts, so I wanted to go ahead and break it down into 3 parts. So Lord willing, this video is edifying. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. Here in verse 11, and it reads, "They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth." Now, when we read the Holy Scriptures, we got to understand, especially, the book of Psalms and really throughout the whole volume of the book of the Bible, that these scriptures have many layers. Is very deep, and it crosses the span of time. So as the scripture says, there is nothing new under the sun. So these same things applies to us in these days as well, as David right here was writing about enemies, that he was dealing with in Israel, and the wicked, who was the Edomites, because he chiefly destroyed because he had put military bases throughout the nation of Edom when he subdued them and conquered them. So when David was in rulership, the Edomites, the so-called white race, they were subdued. And so the same thing in these days. And also he wrote a lot of prophetic, mysterious dark sayings as well in his songs that reached all the way into the end of the earth, to the end of time right now that we're living in today. So when we read here, verse 11, "They have now compassed us in our steps." When Esau, Edom, Ezekiel, we'll get that real quick, Ezekiel 35 and 5. It says, "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred," and perpetual means never-ending hatred. So and this chapter is talking about Esau, Edom. In verse 3 right there, it says, in verse 2 it says, "Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it." And when you look at Seir, that's the mount of the Edomites, and it means hairy or shaggy. And when the so-called white man does not shave, let him not shave for 30 days straight, you'll see exactly who Mount Seir is. The hairy, shaggy people, like a dog, because they're the only people on earth, the only men and women that get lice. And that's similar, and that's like a cousin to fleas on dogs, animals. So you have to really process that in the spirit. It's not about degrading, demeaning a people. We're coming from the scriptures, and you're applying it to, in its practical application, of mankind and existence. So right there it says a patriarch of the Orites, the inhabitants of Edom, before the descendants of Esau, the Edomites. So this is the Edomites. They took over, just like the Israelites took over the land of Canaan, which is Israel, which is Jerusalem, right? Esau took over a different Hamitic tribe, the Orites, and took over that land, and that became their Mount Seir. So, verse 5, "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity." And what calamity is that? When we sin and go off, the Most High brings judgment upon us, like he sent the Babylonians against the tribe of the southern kingdom. And then and before that he sent Assyria after the northern kingdom and destroyed them. So he sends nations to punish the heathen nations, to punish the Israelites when we go off. So that was the time of our calamity, our judgment, and the time that their iniquity had an end. So Esau, the so-called white race, they have a perpetual hatred, a never-ending hatred. So even when our judgment, the Most High judges us for a period of time, that suffices for him, right? That pleases him enough, and then that time is done. But Esau's perpetual hatred, it goes on never ending. So he continued to wage war and try to tear us down and destroy us well beyond well beyond the time of our punishment. Our punishment period is over now. When it's done, when our period of punishment is done from the Most High, Esau is continuously waging war and destroying us well past our time of punishment. So that's Esau Edom hunting our steps. So Psalm 17 and 11 again. They have now compassed us in our steps. Compass meaning circling around us because they hunt our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth. Now we know Esau, he when you see people, put their head down and act like they're, humble and meek. But as soon as you turn your back, then their head snap up and looking at you, right? Because I noticed that with this Edomite devil, he was an Edomite devil in a wheelchair around my residence, and I was just heading out. I was leaving to go handle something at the office, and then he had his head down, acting like he's so, he crouching, he's humble and meek. And then like I get in my vehicle and then I look up and I see him. He was over there looking at me. His head was going back and forth, looking up and down, trying to look and see what I was doing. I was like, this devil here, act like he was totally still, quiet, had his head down, and acting like he was minding his own business. As soon as I turn my back, his head snaps up and he looking all around, looking up and down me, looking around, trying to see exactly what I was, you know, because that's what a snake does, you know. That's that serpent, That's the serpent spirit from the garden. So they compass our steps. And so when we go to Lamentations 4 and 18, these people are not to be trusted at all. Lamentations 4 and 18, they hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. So that's Esau. He's perpetually hating us and perpetually hunting our steps because he has that never-ending hatred from the womb, from the womb, outside the womb, until the Most High take him down. Through sending his right arm, the rod, the Savior, the deliverer, the deliverer, Yahweh Shah, Salaki, getting tongue tied. But so Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. So even if you see these Edomites and they try to act like they're humble, like they're minding their business, the whole time they're paying attention to everything you're doing. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. His rust, his wickedness, everything, he'll never change. He has that hate, and his strength is deceit and trickery, not being a real man, coming head up at you like the scriptures speak that the righteous are bold as a lion, but he's not a lion. He's a coward. So he'll lull you to sleep with false sincerity and false meekness and false humility. So when you turn your back, that's when the horns come out and that dagger come out. So the Most High is putting us up on game about never trust this devil. Never trust, no matter how smooth his words are. War is always in his heart. And that's Psalms 55, I think, in 20 through 22. Verse 12, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Our people are simple. They want to get mad and argue down, and they want to be cool and friends with the Edomites, but not realizing that, you know, any random moment, that devil will come up and bite them, and then they'll realize who the devil is. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. And then and if you don't take heed to the Most High's words, then when you get destroyed by the serpent, the Edomites, so-called white race, then you're going to remember, like, damn, this man really is the devil. I should never, I tried, they ignorantly ignore the glaring signs to not trust this man. But they'll find any reason to not trust their brother, their Israelite brother, and they'll find every reason to trust the enemy. Isn't that some kind of crazy, sick, twisted dichotomy? So now going back to Psalm 17 and verse 12. Like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. So we know Esau, he like a lion when they are camouflaged and hiding in the weeds, ready to pounce on the prey. He's always like that against us. Not that he's righteous, or not that he's a real man that just comes straight up. He's all about trickery, deception, and he wait for the perfect moment to pounce upon the children of Israel. So Obadiah 1 and verse 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So this is talking about Esau, Edom. And what he does, he's like a lion greedy of the prey, and he's greedy. His perpetual hatred makes him endlessly and forever greedy of destroying us and desirous to always wage war upon us, never ending. Because there's other heathen nations that wage war with him and have done things to him, but that emotion of that anger goes away, and then they turn their focus right back to who? The Israelites. Because he has a perpetual hatred against us, even when other nations are at war more with him than Israel. That just want our people foolishly just want his peace and his love. In other nations, they don't care for the Esau's love, and he gives them respect. Let's see, Book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 5. Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's him being greedy and destroying everyone. That's that golden cup of that whore, that wine of fornication, of spiritual fornication, to cause everyone to follow him and make this place a melting pot, as they call it, right, of all nations. And that's why it's Babylon the Great. Every nation, all their philosophies are all bundled together here, and it creates a whole new monstrous doctrine of all these wicked nations and their vain, uh, foolish, doctrines. Let's see. From there we'll go to Psalms 10 in verse 1. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai? Why hidest thou thyself Let's see, Slacky. Okay. Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doeth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Like Haman, when he created those gallows, those instruments of hanging, wanting to hang Mordecai. I believe it's Mordecai, right? And and his family, he ended up being hanged on those gallows. So the same thing, nothing is new under the sun. Is going to happen again to the Edomites, who's trying to create devices to destroy the Israelites in these last days. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasted of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous, whom the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, abhorreth. So he blesses everyone that's covetous. That's why, all the sellouts, celebrities and all these other heathen nations that's covetous of the Israelites and destroying them and setting up businesses, making the money off of us, right? So the Most High abhor all of that. Verse 4, the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not in all his thoughts, because their only desire, their God, is their own belly and their own dark, wicked mind. Verse 5, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. And he chiefly puffs at the Israelites, and he also puffs at the other heathen nations. But the heathen nations know that he's on top right now, and they endure it because they're covetous and they want to just economically and financially, they want to thrive with the beast right now. Verse 6, he hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. So that's the Edomite pride. They think that their nation is going to continue forever. Just like ancient Rome thought they was going to continue forever, and they didn't. And this is modern day Rome. The same fate awaits them. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Because he hides under your tongue. When something's under your tongue, you're hiding it. And that's what he does with his intentions, with his words, because he has a double tongue. That split forked tongue of the serpent. Verse 8, he sitteth in lurking places of the villages, in the secret places doeth he murder the innocent. And that's chiefly the Israelites. And the secret places going into the Illuminati, their shadow government, and their secretive meetings. And then they put forth their devices and their imaginations to keep us destroyed. His eyes are privily set against the poor, and that privily goes into privately is set against the poor. And who's the poor of the earth? The no nation right now, the Israelites, so-called Blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native American Indians. And then also, and then across the other nations as well, his eyes are set to destroy them as well, but chiefly the Israelites. Verse 9, that's that rich man and that poor man of Lazarus and, the poor man, right? Verse 9, and he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doeth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. So the illusions of Babylon the Great, he has caused many to fall by his wine of his fornication of false philosophies, and to strive after his words and his commandments and not the Most High. Verse 10, he croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. So he always falsely humbling himself, and then when you least expect it, then he'll go ahead, his horns get revealed and that dagger come out, and he'll destroy you if you're not trusting your enemy. You won't be taken by him. Okay, and that was verse 12. So verse 13. Arise, O Lord Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, disappoint him. Cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So right now, see, last I went into it and spoke on it earlier. The other heathen nations, the Most High brings heathen nations against Israel when we going off, and that's the Most High's sword, whichever nation He's bringing against us at that time. And then so what happens with the Edomites chiefly is the Most High sword now, because that's the wicked, and that's the sword that the Most High is using to judge us and punish us until now He's starting to have that mercy turning back into us and awakening us back into the truth. Ezekiel 37, the valley of dry bones, and Revelations 11. So, no, King David is asking the Most High to deliver him from the wicked, which is the sword of the Most High. And what you do with a sword, you bring judgment with that sword, and that's what's happening with us here in Babylon the Great against, with the Edomites over us and oppressing us. At verse 13, now we'll go to Isaiah 59 and 19, because the Most High will disappoint him when he comes with this ultimate judgment of that mark and the Jacob's trouble here in these last days, the apocalyptic days to come. Isaiah 59:19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai shall lift up a standard against him. And we heard about multiple times throughout the scriptures when that phrase, the spirit of the Lord, came upon him, and then he did a miraculous divine feat, like Samson. That's one of the most memorable moments when he took that jawbone of an ass and destroyed and killed 1,000 Philistines, I believe, with the jawbone of an ass. So that show you that miracles, spiritual powers is going to come upon certain men, and the spirit of the Most High is going to protect the elect, men, women, and children, when that occurs in these last days. And that's what David's saying: deliver me from the wicked, which is the Most High sword. And that sword going to come in that army of the Edomites, and the Most High is going to lift up that standard. And I love going into this word here, standard. It's nas in the Hebrew. To flee, escape. To escape, to take flight, depart, disappear. So, going to take flight, going to literally fly like birds and disappear and reappear, And the Most High will cloak certain individuals. So the Most High is going to lift up that standard from that sword, which is the wicked, and protect us. Job 5 and 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So that's Esau, the wicked imaginations that he has. That's his craftiness of his devices he creates to keep us destroyed. And then he won't allow their hands to complete their plot and plan to destroy us. Job 20 and 23. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. And ultimately, his filling his belly will be him trying to enslave mankind digitally with that device that you'll need to swipe your hand to buy and sell. So, verse 23 from the top. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So when you first start eating your meal, when you're hungry, your stomach's empty, right? So you eat a little bit. When you first start eating, your stomach is not filled, but you're, in the process of filling your belly, eating till you're filled, right? So same thing with Esau, like, He's going to get us. He's going to get a certain amount of people to take that digital device, and that's going to be him filling his belly. But he won't completely fill his belly. That completely filling his belly goes into him getting all mankind, but mainly the Israelites with his devices, right? So in the midst of him eating and getting people to sell their spirits, their soul, to damnation, and listen and making him their God. The Most High is going to come in, swoop in, and destroy him before he fills his belly all the way. That's why I say if the Most High is going to shorten the days, if not, because no flesh would be saved. Romans 13 and verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. The powers that be or the powers that be are ordained of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So, we just bide our time. We don't adhere to any digital devices that goes in our hand. We just wait upon the Most High because we know it's all of the Most High, and we know it's all of the Lord, and the Most High knows exactly what He's doing. So that gives you peace to know that He's in control of this whole story, and that this man is not going to be able to do anything that the Most High does not allow, because it's all ordained of the Most High. And if you're ordained to be protected and preserved, then you have nothing to worry about. Verse 4. That's why we work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, to have that covering, because everything is of the Most High, not man. Verse 4. For he is the minister of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. So if you're doing wickedness, he will allow the Edomites, which is his sword, in judgment time right now, then, you won't bear that sword in vain, and you will be destroyed. For he is the minister of Yahweh, and a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Because, like we say, that's going to be judgment upon the Israelites, whomever is wicked. We're suffering as a nation right now, but if you do wickedly in these last days, then you're going to be one of those that's destroyed by that sword, which is Esau, that the Most High has ordained right now. So do good and be righteous. Therefore, the Most High will bless you with that covering from that sword of Esau. So Psalm 17 and verse 14. From men, which are thy hand. So I show you that sword is men. That the Lord uses to judge the Israelites. From men, which are thy hand. O Lord Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, from men of the world. So worldly 2/3 Israelites as well, that, false prophets and false leaders. And then the wicked, it's all a combination effect. The men of the world, that's of Satan, which have their portion in this life, because they're all having success. They're all thriving and striving in Satan's world, which is Babylon the Great America. And who pushes everything here under Satan? The so-called white man. And whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. And so who's that treasure? And who are the hidden ones? The Israelites. The United Nations have hidden us from our identity and nationality, and then we're in the Edomites' belly because we're swallowed up right now in captivity. And whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure, and the treasure, because in Joel 2 or 3 speaks about what that the Most High said that they have taken his silver and gold. That's treasure. The Israelites are the treasure that is hid right now in the belly of the beast and the serpent, the Edomites. And he has his allies with the heathen nations, and even those false pastors and preachers, those pulpit preachers, pork chop pastors of the Baptist Church, Christianity. And they have their success here, and they have their portion here with the beast. they are full of children and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. You know, we know that they sacrifice children. They sacrifice children to the fire to Molech. That's that big massive owl over there in California. They have those rituals over there and everywhere else that they have in secrecy. You know, this place is just terrible. So we'll go to Job 9, and this is all happening because this is the Most High, you know, giving the earth into the wicked right now. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So if the wicked right now, the people that rules the earth right now, if they're not the wicked, if they didn't whitewash all of the images of the Most High, the Messiah, the angels, and the Israelites, then who did that? You know, only the so-called white race has done that. And he has sinned far above any other nation in the history of existence. They've sinned against the Most High and Yahushua. Psalm 73:5, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. And that's part of that mercy the Most High gave Cain, because Cain is the grandfather of the Edomites, because Cain is regenerated in Esau. Because Cain, every time Cain does wickedness, and you call out, and that's that spirit of Cain that the white race have, because so-called white race have, because what happened when Cain started crying, saying that his judgment is more than he can bear, but he didn't care, but he's fully content and happy with destroying anybody else. But then after it's time for him to get called out for it and then be judged for it, then he want to cry and moan and complain. Just like Esau cried about the birthright that he wanted to still have when he sold it for a mere 1 meal. And then he cried when he didn't have the birthright anymore after Jacob had received it. That's the same spirit of the so-called white race. When they do what? When you call them out for slavery, they start complaining, start belly aching and getting rage filled and getting contentious and argumentative. So the thing with Cain is when the Most High said that any man that slay thee, and then basically sevenfold judgment shall come upon that man. So, and that's part of his blessing. So he ruling with the sword, and if any man, that's why any man that try to fight throughout history, that's tried to come up against the Edomites when they were in rulership, they would be destroyed substantially. Like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the atom bomb, that's sevenfold more times of judgment came upon them for that what they said was Pearl Harbor, a little airplane attack or whatever in Pearl Harbor, right? So the proportion of judgment that came upon the Japanese for a plane attack over in like a military base in Hawaii or whatever, or Pearl Harbor, whatever they were saying that was. And then they ended up dropping a couple of nuclear bombs on Japan. Is that a fair course of retaliation? You know, that's how they're not in trouble as other men. They can do everything they want, and they can get away with it for a season because this is their time to rule. But anyone else, if they come up against them, what's going to happen? They're going to destroy them substantially more than what that nation said or did to Esau, the descendants of Cain and Esau. So from there we'll go to Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. That's what a lot of our sellouts people have done, like the pastors and the celebrities and everyone, and even everyday citizens. They roll up their sleeves, and then they're gonna stick out their right hand or their forehead to receive that device. They're envying their oppressor, and they're wanting to continue in this society, and they'll do anything to do that and choose none of his ways, because his ways is going to lead you to destruction for sure. And that's why there's a thing that's called what? Sudden adult death syndrome. SADS is what the acronym for it. So it just shows you how wicked this place is, you know. If you do that, you trust your enemy. As the Most I say, never trust thine enemy. You will suffer and be pricked in the end thereof. You're going to be pricked in the end when you remember those words to not trust this cave beast. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, because he has a bounds that he cannot pass. So leading up until that, he's traveling. So he's traveling down a road, and then at the end of that road is a boundary that he cannot go past. So America, Babylon the Great, since its inception, right, last few hundred years, he's been going down that road last couple hundred years, and he's coming up sharply and quickly upon that boundary, and he cannot pass that. And then because he's been sinning all leading up until that boundary, and then he's going to be judged right there and get cut off at that boundary that he cannot pass. And that's that great goal fixed that the Israelites cannot pass over to him, and he cannot pass over to the Israelites. You know, in the parable of the rich man and poor man. Poor man being the Israelites, the rich man the Israelite, the Edomites, the white race, so called. And so, do not envy the oppressor, because they're getting away with evil, like your Kevin Hart's and Cat. I made one of my last videos. I said F. Cat Williams, he's a false leader and false prophet. He's exposing, just that wicked circle of the celebrities, of the wicked sellouts like Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, so forth and so on, right? So don't envy these people and sell out, because even though they were living deliciously, the Kevin Harts and Diddy's of the world, right, and the 50 Cents, etc., they it looked good, 20 years ago or so, 30 years ago or so, when they were having all this fun, seemed like, right? And they had these specials, the VH1 specials of the rich and the fabulous life for the rich and famous, showing you how much money they got and what their lavish um, expenses and their possessions. And that lead people to want to sell out and do anything to enjoy that, but that's only for a season. So envy not the oppressor, choose none of his ways, and they look like they're living the life and that they're on top and never will be taken down, but they did evil, filthy, defiled acts to get to where they were, to get to where they're at. And now they're being exposed and brought down in these last days, because the joy of the wicked is for a moment. Because truth is becoming popular again, and it's becoming groundbreaking, and it's really not even nothing, it's nothing like new. It's just truth. Wickedness has been thriving so much, and truth has been hidden for so long. Now the truth seems like it's such a revolutionary thing, but it's just the Most High allowing the natural course of nature to come back into fruition because beauty, truth, peace, and righteousness from the Most High created everything we see. And now wickedness is new. This is really the marvel at this wickedness, not the truth, but people are wicked, so they marvel at the truth. The truth is a marvelous thing, but it's nothing. It's not shocking, if the Spirit is dealing with you in the name of Yahweh Shah. So Psalms 18 and 39. For thou hast girded me with strength unto the battle. And what battle? The weapons of our warfare is not carnal, it's spiritual. The battle of the spiritual man, the new creature that we've become in the truth, against the old man and Esau, Edom, and Satan, devils and demons. And the Most High is girded us up, and that's the full armor of the Most High. For thou hast girded me with strength unto the battle. Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me. So the Most High, He's girding us up. We stay patient, stay in the faith in the name of Yahushua, right? Following Yahushua, and then the Most High is going to take down our enemies. We won't have to lift a finger, because that's that standard that the Most High is going to raise up to protect us. Job 20 and 15. He hath swallowed up, excuse me. He hath swallowed down riches. That's him filling his belly, and those riches are the Israelites, so-called Black Latinos, Hispanics, Native American Indians, right? The silver and gold of the Most High, the apple of the Most High's eye, Esau Edom, the serpent, has swallowed us down. And then also, all our substance over there in Israel and Jerusalem, and just always oppressing us and taking over our inventions and everything. And he shall vomit them up again. So he's about to vomit them up. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, shall cast them out of his belly. So we're about to get cast out of the belly of the beast. How? Because those so-called UFOs, the chariots, that's that deliverance and salvation, getting beamed up into one of those chariots and ascending as the Messiah. He ascended into one of those chariots, right? So our head went up, and the head follows, and the body follows the head, and it's going to happen to the elect as well. Isaiah 14 and 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. So they say forget about slaveries in the past. Now there's a bill that got to be paid, and that bill has got passed down from generation. The same way, the same way, so-called white race have inherited the generational wealth and this land, and the Israelites, from generation to generation, they have inherited the sins of their forefathers as well. That bill that must be paid. They inherited that bill that got to be paid, that's overdue, So we can't forget about the past. They have selective amnesia. They want to remember what they want to remember in regards to them, and they want us to forget, and they want to forget that, though. That they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So we know that cities go into colonization. They're the colonizers of the earth. So the Most High is going to destroy them for their colonization of the whole earth and under Satan. And that's just common sensible. The wages of sin is death, and that's all it boils down to. Zechariah 8 and 14. For thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of hosts, as I thought to punish you, when your fathers provoked me to wrath, said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of hosts, and I repented not. So I brought that out to show that, the evil, wicked, the Edomites, so-called white race, they say what? Forget about the past that they didn't do. They didn't kill anybody. But the Most High judges the children of fathers as well. The Most High does it however he sees fit, but it's the same way, the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians had the Israelites in captivity and that mass exodus, and he judged them. Same thing is going to happen again, because why? We're not in our natural land. We're in the land of our captivity. So a nation does not get to keep another nation wickedly in captivity and subjection for eternity. That's just not, that would be a fault. That's not balance. That's imbalance. And the Most High says a false balance is an abomination. And that's Proverbs 1:11. There's no balance in who the white race is that get to just keep us in the captivity forever, right? That's wickedness. Or is it 21? Or maybe it's Proverbs 11 and 1. Yeah, Proverbs 11 and verse 1. A false balance is abomination to the Most High power Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, but a just weight is his delight. So everything's going to get weighed out back evenly, but it's going to be in the favor, substantially in the Israelites' favor for eternity, because this was just merely a punishment right now that we serve for being wicked. So forever, so just say the Most High never sends the Messiah Yahushua to return. we will stay over here underneath this cave beast for perpetually. Why? Right? Because and every time, every generation of our people that would say, y'all did us dirty in the past, y'all had us, y'all. Anytime we'll bring up slavery and their destruction of us and murdering and slaughtering, they'll always say forget about the past, and that would be a permanent imbalance. So we know just off that alone, things will balance out. It has to, because the Most High is not about imbalance, but He's about balance. And if we stay in this land of captivity forever, then that would make the Most High, the Most High is not ever going to be um, unrighteous in His dealings. Never ever. So from there we'll go to the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus 41 and verse 3. Fear not the sentence of death. Remember them that have been before thee, and that come after. For this is the sentence of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, over all flesh. Verse 4. And why art thou against the pleasure of the Most High? So it's the Most High's good pleasure to give us the kingdom of heaven. And it lets you know right there that He's going to balance it out and going to give us those infinite blessings in the end. There is no inquisition in the grave, whether thou have lived 10 or 100 or 1,000 years. Verse 5. The children of sinners are abominable children. So the people that we're around today, that we see, they're the children of sinners, the so-called white race. Their forefathers, that they proudly love to speak on, only except for when you bring out their wickedness, right? The forefathers, what, Mount Rushmore of George Washington and who was it, Abraham Lincoln too, and Andrew Jackson, and I forget who else, but their forefathers, or maybe John Adams as well, but they're sinners, and their descendants and all of their people today, they're abominable people, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. So we know that their conversation is in hell and wickedness. Their conversation is not in heaven. And what's from heaven? The words of the Most High. And we're from the heavens as well, from these spirits that come from the Most High and get put in these clay vessels. So verse 6. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish. And see, that's what's going to happen. They're going to vomit up the Israelites and the salvation with the chariots, and they're going to be destroyed with those thermonuclear missiles and the chariot laser beam fire. And their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. They have that perpetual hatred, and they're going to have a perpetual evil reputation. Verse 7, the children will complain of an ungodly father. And that's what they do whenever you bring out they brag about their forefathers, but then when you bring out the sins of their forefathers, then they complain about, that that's not their fault and everything, The ultimate forked tongue, serpents, because they shall be reproached for his sake, because now that bill that hasn't been paid, we'll be like, hey, there's a bill that your forefathers haven't paid. They've done this and that and that. And then they get mad and they'll complain about it, they'll argue you down, and then they'll say that they're the ones that did it, But they are guilty as well, because they never gave back this land back to the natives, our northern kingdom brethren, and they did not return. They did not, return allow us to go back to our homeland. Our homeland is not West Africa. That's where we settled. We came from Israel when we had escaped and fled from the Romans in 70 AD. Because the Messiah said, when you see the armies compass round about, flee to the mountains. And we did that in 70 AD. A lot of us got slaughtered in Jerusalem, but over 1 million of us had fled and took off to the mountains, which was towards Africa, and we migrated through Africa and settled on the west coast until the Europeans, the Edomites, with the help of the Hamites, so-called Africans, colluded together and rounded us up and put us on those on that transatlantic slave trade of those ships, those cargo slave ships. Okay, and let's see, one more verse. So now going back to Psalms chapter 17 and verse 15, the last verse. As for me, what's like you see, that's their they left the substance to their babes, that's their children. Their children have inherited stolen land and stolen people, which are the Israelites, right? And that's their babes. That's going down generation to generation, and then they're abominable children. So verse 15. As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. So Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, because that's how we behold the face of the Most High. We're in the house of mourning, sighing and crying for the abominations being done in the midst thereof, right? And then we are striving, letting our mind, eye be single, our body full of light, our head Yahushua, right? And then being in the proper doctrine and the proper spirit. Then to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. So she that lives in pleasures is dead already. So everyone that's feasting, they're dead. But the living are in a house of mourning. The living is the 1/3 elect. It's like it. So verse 3. Let's see. I want to get that. Okay. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, it's like it, the heart is made better. So so sorrow in a wicked society is better than laughter in a wicked society. So our mind is made better in the sorrow, knowing, we're suffering, having in that spiritual workout, in that battle against the flesh, because we know how wicked this place is. Verse 4, and that's how you grow spiritually. The heart that goes into your mind. The mind of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the mind of fools is in the house of mirth. So all those celebrating, those are fools. Everyone that bred in circus, these sporting events and concerts and wherever else they do for fun, right? And these bars, it's not wicked to go to bars, but you do it in moderation. But you're not just trying to look for the party all the time, right? In the club and everything. That's the heart of fools. Okay, so let's see. Likeness. Let me see. So going back real quick to verse 15 in Psalm 17. Likeness. Let's look up that word likeness in the BLB. So his likeness, form, image, likeness, representation, semblance. Sometimes of a species, the kind. So the likeness of the Most High. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. Let's see, Zechariah 12 and 8. In that day shall the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the Israelites. And he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. And the house of David, that's the 1/3 elect, body of Yahushua, shall be as God. So the elect are going to be powerful on a whole other level from because the feeble of Israel are going to be the 2/3 when they suffer judgment, and then they're going to come back into the kingdom through the 1/3, when through the children that the elect has. Lord willing, we're of that number, right? So they're going to come back, because David, he could leap over walls, run as fast as a deer. If you ever see a cheetah chase a deer, see how fast those deers are, right? So he can he can bend a bow, he can bow still, with his arms as well. Super strength, super speed, and leaping ability. So David was, had he was pretty incredible, physically gifted. So even the 2/3 going to have those kind of abilities. But then the house of David, which is the 1/3 elect, they're going to be as God, meaning they're not in a blasphemous way. They're going to have those spiritual powers. It's going to be on a whole other level of comprehension. And that's the likeness of the Most High shall be as Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, and as the angel of the Lord Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, before them. So that's that likeness that the elect will have on a whole different level. 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 51. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. Because some are going to die in the truth, and some have died, just, natural causes and everything while being in the truth. They're going to awaken, right? The dead in Yahweh Shai are going to rise first and receive those spiritual bodies. So, but we're all going to be changed. All the elect will be changed, into those spiritual bodies. Verse 52, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. So that last trumpet, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So those of the elect are going to receive that immortality, that spiritual body, and be as God, in the likeness of the Most High, in the name of Yahweh Shai, and have those spiritual abilities and powers, and it's going to be far out. And so they're going to be changed, and they want to be in the likeness of the Most High power for eternity. And so we'll get Philippians chapter 3 and verse 19. Whose end is destruction, whose power is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things. We know Esau, Edom, so-called white race, and then the sellouts, the Kevin Harts and all of them. Their God is their belly, and they glory in their shame, in their wickedness, to the defiled acts that they've done to get to where they at. They mind earthly things. They mind the things of Esau, Edom, the cave beast. Verse 20, for our conversation is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, the anointed deliverer, the deliverer anointed. Verse 21, who shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body. Because Yahweh Shai is a direct reflection of the Most High. So if we see the Messiah, we see the Almighty Father. As the Messiah, I believe he said, right? You see me, you see the Father. According to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. So Yahweh Shai has power beyond imagination, because he can do all things, and he can manipulate the elements here and do anything and change anything. That's why he was able, even when he was in his fleshly body, right? He was able to change the water into wine. That's element manipulation. And how much more now in his spiritual body that's glorious far beyond anybody in this in existence, right? Because he's going to have powers far beyond the elect, and you're going to know when you see the Messiah, he's going to be just totally different, just very beautiful. So that's how we're going to be changed to the Most High's likeness, the elect. Lord willing, we're of that number. So yeah, that's that's the whole 3-part series for Psalms chapter 17 breakdown. Hope this video is edifying. The water to the Rechak Wadash Bahasham Yahweh Shai for another video. To the next video, I say. Shalom. Slaki.